Jimmy Butler, he's a very interesting player to me.
He's like, oh, shoot, I don't know where to go with the ball because I haven't been able to think.
It was a great series. Game 4 was one of the best games I've ever watched in my entire life. Now LeBron's a 4-time champion, and Anthony Davis gets his first.
It's unacceptable. So happy when the Astros lost because it would definitely be a 2020 thing.
Yeah, I was impressed by their game. Braden Point, Andre Palat, Nikita Kucherov. That was the best line in the playoffs, no doubt.
Stay undefeated when they face the mighty Cowboys with Garrett Gilbert.
Hey everyone, I'm Jared Sandler, and you're listening to Outsiders Opinions.
What's up, y'all? Welcome to our MLB Opinions of the Week. And the man that came up with his predictions before Blake Snell or Jordan Montgomery was signed, Austin.
I'm kind of shocked about that they still haven't signed because there are there are injuries to pitchers, and it seems like it's there's a lot of teams that need more starting help. But Kevin, I want to ask you, because I really did struggle with some of these divisions. Which division did you struggle with the most?
I think the NL Central.
I agree. I that's the one I'm still not 100% sure about. Which one was the easiest for you?
Easiest. I want to say AL West.
Okay. Mine was probably the NL East. I thought that one was clear cut for me. But which one do you want to start with?
Let's go NL West because this one's also difficult. But we'll stay in the NL. I'll go first. I have Dodgers, Diamondbacks, Giants, Padres, Rockies.
I thought you and I were going to agree a lot more on this, but I think we only agree on two teams of it.
Okay.
And you're going to be kind of shocked with mine. So I have Giants, Dodgers, Padres, Diamondbacks, Rockies.
Okay, so you're expecting a fall from the Diamondbacks this season?
No, I think they'll have this about the same record. The problem is I don't think it's going to be good enough. I think they'll be around the same, and that won't be enough to get into a playoff spot. Because if you remember, they only won 84 games last year.
Yeah.
Ended up making the playoffs. I think in the regular season, they'll be around an 84 to 86 win team. However, I don't think that's going to be enough for them to be in the top 4 of their division or top 3 of their division.
Okay, yeah, I think they're going to be a really good team, and last year was just kind of a precursor of what's to come. And the Dodgers, of course, you don't have the Dodgers winning. I think the Dodgers have get the number one just because of what they've done, and I'm intrigued to see how the shortstop looks because they moved Mookie Betts to shortstop, and how does that affect the team? Because I know they did Mookie at second base, but I don't think he's done a lot at shortstop in his career, correct?
I don't believe he's done much of anything at short. I know he's played a good bit of second base, but not short.
Yeah, so that's my thing. And while I do believe in the Giants a lot, I'm going with precedence with them. And I still, we'll talk about the playoffs, but I think it's going to be a tough race between them and the Diamondbacks.
Yeah, there's a lot of teams here in the NL West that I think could make a playoff push. Everyone besides the Rockies, really.
Yeah, the Rockies is pretty sure. We'll see what the Padres do. But yeah, and then do you want to go to NL Central now or NL East?
Let's do East first. I want to leave the Central for last because of how hard that was for me. But the East I thought was pretty easy. Braves, Phillies, Mets, Marlins, Nationals. I think the Mets have a resurgent year this year, now getting Edwin Diaz back healthy. And I still like a good bit of the roster when it's all playing. The Marlins, I think, will fall off a little bit. But again, they only made the playoffs with 84 wins as well. So I'm not necessarily saying that they're going to be significantly worse, but I just don't think that's going to be good enough this year.
Okay, so you and I have the first two correct, or the same. I have Braves, Phillies. Then I go Nationals, Marlins, Mets. I'm going to think the Mets are going to be bad for a little bit longer next year. They're going to show glimpses, but Marlins, I think, kind of dip. But I think this is the year we kind of see the Nationals and their young crew get together. You got CJ Abrams, you got Mackenzie Gore, and I believe Dylan Cruz is starting to hit well. That's who they took. Max Clark was the third pick. So we'll just have to see what they do. But I think this is the season where the rebuild starts coming together and we see a lot from them.
Yeah, I definitely could see that.
The thing I do like about the Marlins is they signed Tim Anderson. We may have talked about this in a previous video, but I like it's a low-cost move and it could bring up a lot of upside for them.
Yeah, the only problem is that he had a absolutely historically horrible season last year, so he has to rebound from that.
Yeah, we'll have to see. Okay, so now we have the NL Central.
I'll let you go first.
So this one's tough. I went Cubs, Reds, Cardinals, Pirates, Brewers.
I would like to say, I think every one of these teams will be within 10 games of each other. I think it'll be one of the tightest division races we've ever seen, but we agree with the winner. I have Cubs at 1, Cardinals at 2, Reds at 3, Brewers at 4, Pirates at 5.
Yeah, this is a lot. The Pirates, I felt bad putting the Brewers last, but I kind of believe the Pirates are on the upswing again because you got O'Neal Cruz. They got a lot of their prospects coming up. I also think we could see Paul Skeens in the show this year, maybe show up because he just seems to be doing well. The Brewers, it seems like they're kind of cleaning house. Reds, they were a team that showed a lot last year, but then they faltered. I think they do better. Same thing with the Cubs. Cardinals, it's just, do I really believe in them? Not really. I'm shocked we believe in the Cubs together because they did lose Marcus Stroman, but they did get Bellinger back. I do like Justin Steele, and they might have more guys coming up. So
It's a tough division to predict.
Yeah. It's a tough division, and I agree that they'll be pretty close to each other. None of them are going to be amazing. It's just going to be like, this is a mediocre division.
I'll say that I think the worst team that makes the playoffs will be the winner of this division.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree with that too, just because they're all in similar spots, talent-wise, even though they're very different. Reds are very young, same with the Pirates. Cubs are in between, like they're trying to get better, but it's a mix of young guys and spending. Cardinals were a team that dominated. Now they're faltering. And you could probably put the Brewers in that. The Brewers were great, but now they're trading a lot. They traded a lot of guys, so what do they really have?
Yeah, that's a good point. Let's go into our playoffs. So at the 1 seed, I have the Giants. The 2 seed, I have the Braves. 3 seed, I have the Cubs because the top 3 have to be the division winners. And then at 4, Dodgers. 5, Phillies. 6, Padres.
Okay, so you have the Padres getting in. I don't have them getting in. I have Dodgers 1, Braves 2, so we agree on that. And then Cubs 3 because division winner. Phillies 4, Diamondbacks 5, Giants 6.
Okay, so we both do end up having the Giants making the playoffs, and I definitely think we're
Yes.
both a lot higher on them than a lot of other teams, or a lot of other people are, because, I mean, I have them as my 1.
You have them as your 1.
I'm extremely high on them this year. I think that they've gone under the radar for some reason. People act like they didn't trade for arguably one of the best, or arguably the best defensive third baseman in the league in Matt Chapman, along with a former Cy Young winner. Like, I don't know how it doesn't get a lot more traction than it has been.
Yeah, I don't know. It's been a quiet offseason in media wise, but man, they look great. It's just, can they put it all together? And that's why I have them. But I could be undershooting them too. I'm just going with Dodgers, and I really like what the Diamondbacks are building. I like the Nathan Rodriguez, and I believe Eduardo Rodriguez, not Nathan Rodriguez. I don't know how that came up together, but I also believe they signed. Did they sign JD Martinez? No, JD Martinez.
No, JD Martinez, I think. I believe, isn't he? He's still a free agent.
Okay, I know they got
But
Thumper.
They signed JD Davis. Oh no, he got released. That's right.
Yeah, no.
They
I
signed Jorge
want to.
Soler.
No, that's the Giants.
Oh wait, who are we talking about again?
Diamondbacks. I think they signed Jock Peterson.
Let me pull them up. They signed. Um, they did sign Jock Peterson. You were right. They also signed Elvis Andrews, which I do think is an interesting signing.
Yeah, I like that signing too. They're a team that just need to add a little bit because, of course, they went far and kind of hit before. So I'm really excited what they do. So I'm high on the Diamondbacks. And yeah, so now let's go to the AL. The Central is also kind of weak here too, in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree, but I think I'm a lot more content on who the positions I have the teams in. Do you want to start there?
Yeah. Do you want to go first?
Sure. I have the Tigers as the 1, the 2 as the
Okay.
Twins, the 3 as the Guardians, the 4 is the Royals, the 5 is the White Sox. This may seem a little bit out there, but I do believe the White Sox are by far the worst team in Major League Baseball, even worse than the Rockies. They traded away their only real elite starting pitcher. They lost Tim Anderson. They lost Elvis Andrews. They lost so many other guys. The only guy who's really good on this team is Luis Robert, and that's not enough for them to be even contending for any other spot. Maybe them and the Athletics, but I still think the Athletics have more promising players. Maybe they trade away those guys, but they'll get enough wins before the trade deadline for them not to be the worst team in the league this year.
Yeah, I really just forgot how bare this White Sox team is. They don't even have Lance Lynn. There's nothing really going for them. No young prospects. It just a huge teardown, which is crazy. So they're last. I'll just go bottom up since I mentioned the White Sox. Tigers second to last. Royals third. Twins second, and then Guardians first.
So I'm a lot higher on the Tigers than you are.
Yeah, what is the reason you believe in
Starting
the
pitching.
Tigers?
Starting pitching. I think
Okay.
Tariq Skubal will be what every team needs as an ace. He was very good last year. I believe his ERA was under 3. Yeah, it was a 2.8 ERA last year. He was 7-3. I truly believe he could be a Cy Young contender this season. He's been very impressive every year with the Tigers. I really do like uh, the Tigers pitching staff this year. They they have a good bit of guys that I think will contend. And again, this division is very, very weird. I think Casey Mize and Kenta Maeda, you remember they signed him. He was with the Twins. They made some good signings. I like their rotation. I think that Spencer Torkelson and all the other guys who are on the hitting side of things will be just good enough for them to win their division. And again, with the competition being lesser in their division, I do think they have a good chance of winning it.
Yeah, to me they're just very hot and cold because I think they can experience some up and downs from their prospects. They're very hit or miss. Because Torkelson struggled, but he could come back on. I think Scuball may have struggled before last season, or am I just totally making that up?
Torkelson or
Or
Screwball?
no, Scuball. They're pitching because I know they have other guys.
Screwball
Okay.
was 3.52, which is still solid. In 2022, his 3.52 ERA had a 7-8 record, but that's more indicative of how bad the Tigers were, not necessarily how well he was pitching. His FIP, though, in 2022 was 2.96, which is remarkable. So fielding independent pitching. So a lot of his ERA was because of just how bad the Tigers were. He's been elite the last 2 years. And I really think he's going to come onto the scene and be a true Cy Young contender.
Okay. All right. Yeah, and I know Javi Baez is just terrible, and we'll just have to see what happens. So that's why I'm not high on them. I just believe the Guardians will make something work.
But they
just seem to.
my problem with them, and sorry to interrupt, but is Terry Francona is
Yeah.
now gone. And Terry Francona
Yeah.
was really a big reason why they were so successful, I feel like, because he's so good at setting up lineups, talking to the team before and during games. I think losing that loses a little bit of the just the, I don't know how they're going to be able to do it without him because he's been with the team for so long and he's helped them get a lot better records than they probably could have without him. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe they continue with just Jose Ramirez being an MVP candidate again and can win this division. But I'm going to need to see something from the managers that they lost, because the Tigers still have a good manager in what is his name?
It's a former Astros guy.
Yeah,
Right?
AJ Hinch.
Mhm.
So I just like the coaching better there. And while the Guardians could definitely prove me wrong because I like some of their players, losing Terry Francona is a bigger loss than I think losing any manager would be.
Yeah, you bring up a good point. I just think the players, what the Cleveland system does, producing players is incredible. So I believe in them. Twins, it's just hit or miss. I think it's going to be a down year compared to last year. But yeah, a lot could go wrong. Like the Tigers, I could see it happening if everything comes together, but we'll just have to see. The Royals, Cole Reagans is going to be their opening day pitcher. That's amazing. And he seems to have really fixed it for himself. And it seems like maybe they're starting to get the right prospects and players in place.
Yeah, we'll see. I'm not as high on the Royals just because they still, I think, are a year away before they actually become divisional contenders.
All right. Which one do you want to do? AL East or AL West?
Let's start with the West, and I'll let you go first.
Okay, so I do have the Astros winning the division. Again, they are the defending champs. A lot is needed for them to get it right. And the Rangers do have a weaker pitching staff just because of all the injuries that have happened, but we'll just have to see what happens. However, I think their hitting lineup is going to be insane. Once Seager comes back healthy, Nathaniel Lowe, I know, is going to miss some time, but I think Justin Foscue could be up playing first base, and he's a great hitter. He's not great defensively, but I also expect Wyatt Langford to make the team. It is just an insane hitting lineup, and I think that's going to be able to do it. And I think there are some sneaky players in the bullpen this year. I'm not a huge fan of Leclerc still, but respect. Looks like Grant Anderson may be figuring some stuff out. I'm also a huge fan of Mark Church. He's a guy I've heard things about, and I just think they have a better floor than the Mariners. The Mariners are. We've talked about this. I don't really believe much in the Mariners. They're just a weird team. I have the Angels second to last. I just think Mike Trout gets something. We'll have to see. And then I have the Athletics last, but I could see the Athletics showing something and winning more games.
Yeah, I think the bottom two are definitely the Angels and Athletics, and that's the order I have them. But I could see the Angels being the worst team in this division if Mike Trout gets hurt. So I definitely think the Athletics are better than some people give them credit for. I like some of their young guys, so I think they have a chance to be not the last team in this division and be fourth. And I think the Mariners are really slotted into that third position. You and I very much disliked the moves that they had made during this offseason, and I'm kind of disappointed because I thought that they were going to be more involved with making more intelligent moves. But 1 and 2 is definitely always going to be Rangers and Astros, or Astros and Rangers. I ended up putting the Rangers at first and the Astros at second. I don't really trust the Astros starters as much as I would like to. And I believe at this rate, there's a higher chance than not that Jordan Montgomery resigns, because do you want to go to a new team after spring training's already ended, or would you just want to stay where you are? I could see a 1-year signing happening there, and if that does happen, I do think the Rangers are probably my favorites to win the division again, or not again, but this year.
Yeah, that would be amazing if Jordan Montgomery came, because he's just a steady presence. That would make the rotation Evaldi, Montgomery, I would say Heaney or Dunning, Heaney, and then Bradford. And then once Max Scherzer comes back, and then you could even throw in DeGrom there. They also signed Tyler Mahle. So I think there are a lot of options. And it may seem like Jack Leiter might be figuring it out. He's starting to pitch better. He struggled in the minor leagues. So I think they'll have some guys coming up, but this hitting offense is just going to be amazing.
Yeah.
I'd be shocked if Wyatt Langford is not on the opening day roster. I know that's insane just because he was drafted less than a year ago, but the dude is mashing in spring training. And you also have Ezekiel Duran, so it's amazing. And I think there are some prospects that they could use to go trade to do stuff, but we'll have to see. Now I'll let you do your division next.
Okay. I'm going to start out and just say I believe, even with Garrett Cole missing a month or two, that the Yankees get the first seed in this division. We've never seen, since Derek Jeter and A-Rod, two guys on the Yankees as good as Soto and Judge are. I could see a serious argument for them being the two best players in the AL, let alone, especially with Mike Trout not being 100% consistently. So I think the Yankees can get it done. I have the Orioles at second. I still love their team. I think them picking up some of the guys that they did, especially in the pitching department, will be very beneficial. Blue Jays at third. Rays at fourth. I think they've lost too much, especially after the whole debacle that happened last season with Ronald Franco. And then fifth, I have the Red Sox.
Yeah, so we disagree at the top. I went with the Orioles, kind of what they did last year, and I just like the baseline. I think their players are going to be better. They're just a team loaded on talent in the system, higher talent given them with the Yankees, just because of how bad the Orioles were. I really do like their pitching, and Garrett Cole injury I think does affect the Yankees, and I'm worried about the other parts of their lineup. Can Carlos Rodon stay healthy? And we'll just have to see. But I think it's going to be a tough race at the top. Then I do have the Rays, like I was talking about with the Cleveland team and just their system. The Rays just seem to put out talent, and they don't have that superstar talent, given the situation that happened last year, as you mentioned. They're going to get solid talent. I think they're going to be able to compete. However, they won't be competing for those top two. And then Blue Jays, we'll just have to see it. Maybe Alek Manoah is back to what we saw 2 years ago. And then Red Sox, I forgot they got Von Grisham in the trade with the Braves, I'm pretty sure.
Yes.
So that's a big thing for them. But they're kind of rebuilding, and we'll just have to see what happens. So that's my list. And then I'll just go into my playoffs. I have the Orioles 1, Astros 2, and then Guardians 3 because they are a division leader. Then Yankees 4, Rangers 5, Rays 6.
Okay. I went a little bit differently, even though I do have the winner of the AL East being the best team. So I have Yankees at 1. I have Tigers at 2, Rangers at 3, Orioles at 4, Astros at 5, Blue Jays at 6.
Okay, so you got Astros at 5. Man, you are really into the Tigers.
I think that they have a weaker schedule. I don't really like their division.
Okay.
I think it could inflate their record.
Okay. All right. All right.
Also,
so you believe
you go.
you believe in the Blue Jays.
I believe they're good enough to make the playoffs this year, yes.
Okay. All right. Yeah, so that's pretty crazy. So we both have the Rangers in the playoffs. I hope that happens. Yeah, it's amazing. So we'll just have to see what happens. You have them winning the AL West, which they did come close to.
Yeah. I think it'll be a tight race.
Yeah, no, I think it's going to be great. The AL West has lost some things, but it should be a fun race and just an exciting season. I can't believe it's already here again. It's going to be super fun to watch.
Yep, I'm excited. We will eventually do our award predictions. I'm excited for that as well, and you could definitely come back to this episode and see where I hinted at some things.
Yeah, I can't wait to watch that and check this out because I do hope the Rangers make the playoffs again. And thank you for listening, and we appreciate you listening to Outsiders Opinions. Make sure to check all our socials for updates on the show. Also, we're doing March Madness, and make sure to check out also other videos we've done in the past. Thank you for listening to Outsiders Opinions.